What's going on YouTube? Welcome to my YouTube channel. All right, so if you've been following me, I appreciate it. But if you don't know me, my name is Shai, and I've been doing eBay part-time, more of a hobby, but a little more serious around the holidays for over 20 years. And sales are soaring. We're up 42% in just the last 30 days compared to month over month. And in today's video, I'm here to help you if you don't do this full time, or even if you do this full time, help you understand what it takes to be successful on eBay and also some interesting sales. So I'm a dude, so it's a little more from the dude's perspective, but I do sell girly items every now and then as well. Basically, anything that I feel can be shared with others. Do it in a professional manner, take good photos, list at least 10 items per day. Now, there are days where I don't get the list fully, but in this video, you're going to see so far I must be doing something really well. So I'm going to go into each item, the top 10 items that sold this week, and tell you a little bit of background on each one, what I paid, and hopefully you learned something. So come along with me on this journey. And if you do like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. So let's get going. Okay, so our most recent sale is a 1936 Denver minted Buffalo nickel. This particular nickel is toned. It's in great condition. Yes, it does have some things on it, but the real reason this buyer probably bought it is because of the beautiful toning. So you can take regular Buffalo nickels that you can find from a local coin shop or by purchasing Buffalo nickel collections. I think I have about 25, maybe 26 cents into this coin. And look at this guy, $16.96. And because this is under $20, this does qualify for the 69-cent shipping that you can do with any coin or trading card that is under $20. It cannot be professionally graded, but if the item weighs under 3 ounces, in this case, this particular coin weighed under 1 ounce, it does have the full horn. So that is important when you are listing your coins. So the keywords here is you want to tell the buyer what type of coin it is, what the year is, the mint mark, and that it is, in my opinion, about uncirculated due to the full horn, and that it is toned, and it does have gorgeous eye appeal. So this particular buyer paid $16.96, and I'm running currently at 15% off all trading cards and coins in my shop. And I'm renewing that for next week, and I do have 25% off on the rest of the items in my shop. So 'tis the season. Someone got themselves a great coin. The next item that sold that I thought was really, really cool is this 1995 Batman Forever Batwing vehicle. This is not just a bat vehicle, it also turns into a boat and it also turns into the bat car. Very cool toy. It's very common that this piece here, the lid is missing. So I noticed a lot of other sellers on eBay we're getting 60 bucks, but the ones that didn't have the tops here, they're still trying to ask 50 bucks or 60 bucks. This vehicle is complete. It is not in perfect condition. It's pretty big. I basically have about $5 invested in this toy. I purchased a large toy lot from a seller on YouTube, and this was one of the cool toys that came in it. So what I do with the toys is I'll purchase them. I do have almost a 3-year-old grandson who lives with me. So he gets to play with the toys that I deem that are not kind of resellable. They're a little bit too rough. But stuff like this that's out of his age range, I definitely enjoy sharing with others. So if you run across this Batman toy, do know that it's very important that this lid comes with it. If not, you're going to have to ask for a lot less. I do also take pictures of the lid to show that it's not in perfect condition, but the toy completely transforms. That part comes off, then it becomes the Batwing. You have a separate boat that Batman can ride in. And then you also have these two pieces here that the Batwing connects to after you remove the wing, so it turns into a bat car. Very, very cool multi-purpose toy. Again, you get a car, a boat, and the Batwing. So very cool toy. This took under a week to sell. And like I said, I had $5 into it. Also, when you're selling toys, make sure that you actually put the image here of where it's made. That is important to buyers or collectors. Again, this is more for a display piece, or maybe someone just wants to buy a cool toy for one of their grandkids or sons, or maybe it's someone that, was 10 years old in 1995, and they want their toy again. So really happy about this sale. Made a nice profit on it. It was pretty easy to ship, to put all together. I double boxed it, and that will be dropped off at the post office tomorrow. So awesome sale. Okay, this next item is from my childhood. So when I was 10 years old and 11 years old, we had a really good indoor soccer team, and they always we were so good, we were undefeated. That also was the year the Bears won the Super Bowl. So we even did like our Super Bowl shuffle. But this was a cool piece. I didn't realize I still had this. So this is from the Chicago Shockers. And this particular indoor team was only in Chicago, I think, for 2 years until it fizzled out. So it was more of like a minor league team that would play before they actually played for the professional team, which was the Chicago Sting at the time. So if you're in Chicagoland or you run across the Chicago Shockers, it is a minor league team that was only in existence, and this piece sold for some good money because it actually has autographs. Now, there's nobody famous on here. There's no Ronaldo. There's no Messi, but I think it's cool that it was actually signed. It's in rough shape. This probably was hanging on my wall, over 38 years ago because I'm 48 years old, but it does have all the players' autographs. You don't need to get this authenticated. I think someone bought this just to hang in their man cave, or someone that collects, Chicago sports team memorabilia. Again, this team only existed, I want to say, in 1986, 87, 88. I could be wrong, but very cool piece. Again, it was a personal piece of mine. Doesn't have any sentimental value to me, and was happy to find this, that I still have this, been carried along with me all these years, and was able to sell it for a nice profit for 60 bucks. With these type of pennant items, I do like to pack them in record shipping boxes. So those are the 13 by 13 by 1 boxes. So that way this stays as nice as possible. And I always do bag the item as well. So that way, just in case it gets wet, the item itself won't get damaged. But really nice profit. And like I said, anything Chicago Sting, and you're probably really rare to find a Chicago Shockers. Very, very cool piece, and was happy to sell that for a nice profit at 60 bucks. Okay, for this next piece, everybody knows who Michael Jordan is, but guess what? Michael Jordan's wearing a baseball cap. What's up with that? Now, most people do realize he played for the Chicago White Sox while he took a break from baseball. He is the GOAT of all time, the greatest of all time for basketball. Baseball, not so much, but this was the year I basically was in college. I remember him taking batting practice out, at Illinois Institute of Technology while he was trying to figure out his ways in baseball. Never got an autograph, never really met Michael Jordan in person, although he lived probably 15 minutes from where I grew up. But here is a very cool coin that I picked up. I didn't pay much for this. I think I have about $45 into this coin. But what's nice about this coin is when he was at the Birmingham Barons, this was the minor league team that every baseball player has to play for before you become a professional. And this particular cool piece is still sealed inside the Mylar. This came out in 1994. Very, very cool piece. They did not make a lot of these. So the Jordan one, they made 25,000. So that is a lot. But most of these in the 90s, kids would open these up and these coins would just get nasty because they were basically exposed to the elements, or they're kept in the kids' drawer, or kids played with them, or they used them to trade with other kids. So not a lot of these survive. They're not, the ones you do find out there are not in the greatest of shape. They've got dents and dings, all kinds of issues. This one was really, really nice. So this is the reverse. The other thing to keep in mind too is if you find the actual number on it, and if it has one of Michael Jordan's actual numbers that he wore, like if it ends in 23 or 45 when he was wearing that for a little bit, those can be worth a lot more because they only made so many of them that end in 23. And man, if you have the limited edition 23 out of 25,000, that coin could be worth thousands of dollars. So again, very, very cool piece. Here's what it looks like up close. It is a full 1 ounce of silver. Silver currently is around $31, $32 an ounce. So if you are at a local coin shop, even if you're not in Chicagoland and you find something like this and you're like, what is going on? Michael Jordan is in an actual Barons uniform. this particular coin can be worth some extra money. So even if you have to pay 45 bucks at a coin shop, and if it's not in nice shape like this, you can make a nice profit. So awesome to get that one finally. Okay, this next piece, everybody knows pretty much who Elmo is if you have kids or grandkids, and everyone knows the Tickle Me Elmo. I remember there was a point in time the Tickle Me Elmos were worth thousands and thousands of dollars. You couldn't find them anywhere. This particular one I picked up during the Black Friday sale from Walmart. They were selling them for $15 with free shipping, and the maximum you could buy was 5 of them. So I bought one for my grandson. He loves it. He takes it, everywhere with him. He likes to wake up in the morning and tickle Elmo. It makes the kid laugh. He enjoys it. But I had 4 brand new ones, so I decided to sell the 4 of them. I did run a sale, did not make huge profit on it, but the profit I made on the 4 toys that I sold, they sold very fast within 48 hours because I probably was the lowest price on eBay, and mine were actually still factory sealed. They weren't something from the open shelf. So my actual toys that I sold, they're all going out tomorrow. They've never seen the day of light, and those buyers will be super happy because I'm sure Walmart jacked the price up back up to 30 bucks or $40, whatever they were selling them for. So very cool piece. So sometimes when you find really good deals on toys, before you buy a toy for a gift as a reseller, you can, if you get a good enough deal, if you buy a bunch of them, you can then sell your other 4 toys and basically got this one for free. So my grandson loves it. I like the fact that I was able to share 4 additional of these at a discounted price. Again, probably the lowest on eBay, probably a little too cheap, but as you can see, they're out of stock. Sold them very, very quickly. Didn't have to buy a special box. It was already boxed up. Simply just slap the label on it. And I used the standard photos, I believe from Amazon, which I probably wouldn't recommend, but again, they sold, no Veros. I'm happy, Elmo's happy, and the future kids that these are going to be given to will also be very happy. So don't forget about retail arbitrage. If you find a really good deal at a store or online, in this case, I didn't have to get in my car and go to the store and pick them up. They came to my house, $15 invested, sold the other 4 for 23, used the profit to pay for the toy I gave to my grandson for absolutely free. And all I had to do was make a listing, use some stock photos. When they sold, slap the label on it. I go to the post office. Again, I didn't even have to get in my car and go and get these from the store. They came to me. They came to me quickly. I got them listed right away, and now they're gone. So anytime you can see something like that, definitely take advantage of it and make yourself a profit and give your grandson or your child a very happy toy for free. Nothing beats free. Okay, this next item is a little unique, but I do want people that do reselling to look out for this kind of stuff. So there are certain car brochures, a lot of times, even, 1999, 90s, 2000s. Well, BMW makes one of the best sales brochures ever. Like they used to spend, I don't think they do this anymore, but they used to spend a lot of money on the printing. They would go all out with just showcasing the car. And basically, these are handed out to you if you're interested in the vehicle when visiting the dealership. This is the very first time that the 128i and the 135i coupe came out in the States here in the United States in 2008. This was the very first sales brochure. I received this directly from BMW along with my BMW magazine. Um, Maybe I didn't get it from BMW magazine. But anyways, when you buy a BMW, you get BMW magazine as part of the sales marketing at that time. And I remember I was interested in this car. I didn't end up buying it. I bought a 3 Series, probably had about 5 or 6 3 Series in my lifetime, but I tucked this brochure away. I don't even realize I had it, and I was cleaning out my office, and I found it. I'm like, man, this thing is brand new. I think I looked at it like actually once. So again, someone who has this car loves this brochure, or they're getting it as a gift. I sold it for $18.75. It's going out media mail. And again, if you see stuff like this at a garage sale and they're only asking $1.50 for it, definitely pick it up. Again, you can make money on stuff when it comes to car memorabilia, especially these original sales brochures. They're absolutely beautiful from BMW. The other car manufacturers, I'm not so sure of, but I've definitely sold over I want to say 50 sales brochures in my lifetime. And that's because every time I'd go in the car dealer, whether it's for service or look at stuff, I'd come home with a brochure. So I only think I have like 3 of them left, but out of all 50 of them, they've all sold over the years. So if you run into sales brochures like this from BMW, especially when it's the year the car first came out, they can definitely be worth some decent money. So keep an eye out for that. Okay, for my sixth sale, top 10 of the week is this 2019 limited edition David Montgomery rookie patch. It's an auto patch. So, what that means to you newer collectors or resellers is that it actually has a patch from some part of the jersey, and it actually has the real life player's autograph on it. David Montgomery he no longer plays for the Bears. I believe he's with the Packers. Or another team. Maybe he's with the Lions. No, I'm sorry. Maybe I think he's with the Lions. Anyways, Bears are having such a terrible season. It's hard for me to keep track. But I will tell you this: when he was a Bear, he was a stud. He's still a stud, and someone can appreciate this card. So, someone paid $42.50 for it. I think I paid $35 for it in 2021 when I was, during COVID and buying sports cards. This is one of the few cards I actually made a profit on. But it's a very nice card. I'm not a fan of really David Montgomery anymore because he's no longer a Bear, but he is a good running back. So again, if you see one of these cards, this is not professionally graded. They can be worth some good money. And when you do take photographs of your cards, make sure you take photographs of all the corners, both front and back, especially when you're trying to ask decent money for it, because the person that's buying this is most likely going to send it in to get graded. So you don't want to get a bunch of questions asked. Just take nice photos, and those photos are worth thousands of words. So nice profit on this. Do I recommend buying and flipping trading cards? Not unless you can get them basically really, really, really cheap. Buying them on eBay to resell them later is a complete gamble and I think a waste of time. But this particular card I bought because I was a fan of him and I'm glad to make some profit on it. Well, I'm not a fan anymore. So thanks to the buyer of this particular card from my eBay. All right, so for my next piece, here we have a vintage Magistron pocket watch, Swiss movement, gold quartz, and new battery. Works great. Who put the battery in? I did. So guys and gals, do not be scared of watches. It does not take a rocket science for certain watches to replace the battery. This particular one is a pocket watch. It does have an engravement, I believe, of HKL on it. Again, it doesn't matter. Anyone that collects watches can appreciate the beauty of them. This is not made of real silver or gold. It's simply a fashion watch. The key is, though, it is in very nice condition and that it actually works. So there is a way that you can actually take these apart and clean them. This particular one did not require any cleaning. All I had to do was basically put a battery inside. So I don't know if I took photos of the battery compartment flipped out. Here it is. So this back flips off. You have to have a special tool that gets in there and pops the back off. You doesn't, you just have to get it in there. And then the LR927 battery. I like to put max cells in mine. The battery itself costs under $1 if you buy enough of them. And the time it takes to pop the back off, put a battery in, and then put the lid back on simply takes under a minute. Probably took me longer to find the battery and find the actual tool to pop this open. So when I do my watches, I like to put all the dead watches all in a pile, have all the batteries ready, and I do them one after another to save time versus doing one and then doing something else and then doing another one. So as you can see, anything Swiss made is beautiful. When I sell my watches, I do like to run into the habit of taking pictures of it actually open so that the future buyer can see that it's very clean and it does not have water damage. So very nice piece. I think I'm $2 into this watch. I did buy this watch from a seller on YouTube. I bought probably over 12, maybe 15 watches. Maybe you have a couple bucks into it plus $1 for the battery. Super excited to get $37.50 for it. And it sold really fast. I think it sold under 2 weeks. So again, if you run across something like this, I always like to take a little photo of a quarter next to it to give people an estimation of size. So make sure you put your dimensions. If it's a wristwatch, you definitely want to measure the crown, the um, the other parts of the watch, the size of the band, how long it goes, because that put them on their wrist, they want to have an idea of size. So don't just sell a watch and assume people know the size and then you're going to get a return. Always want to take photos of actual size, and I also weigh my watches. Very nice profit. Keep an eye out for this at estate sales or when you're buying vintage watch lots. They don't have to be made out of real silver or gold. Obviously, if this is made out of gold, this would be worth thousands just in the gold weight alone. This is just a nice, a nice fashion watch that someone added to their collection. So thank you for that sale, whoever bought. Okay, for this next item, this was a surprise to me, but this is Memphis Mafia Princess Living in the Elvis World by Shirley Dew. I believe that's how you say her name. This book sold under a week. I found it in a pile of books that my wife had in her possession. We've been moving, stuff around, and I'm like, hey, do you care if I sell this book? She didn't care. But what made this sell for $45 is it actually is signed by the author herself, and she met the author at Graceland, and it says, "Thank you for always remembering Elvis. Take care." And then it's got her, and then she puts "taking care of business." So very, very cool signature on this. Obviously, an Elvis fan bought this. The book itself, raw, is probably worth maybe $8 to $10 if it's in decent condition. But when you get a nice autograph on it from the actual author herself, very, very, very cool. So I appreciate my wife letting me sell this. And again, sold very fast, under a week, was an awesome condition because we keep all of our books in plastic totes to, save them from moisture and the elements, and was able to ship this out very quickly. So awesome sale. So if you do see books like this, especially anything Elvis related, there's a lot of them out there, but always look in the inside. And if the inside is signed, they're definitely worth looking into and definitely worth uh, listing for a lot more on eBay. So again, you never know until you open up that book. Don't just blow off books. Take a look inside. Now this one, I didn't even know was signed. My wife even forgot she had it signed, but it was definitely signed, and I got $45 for it very, very quickly. Probably could have asked more, but again, I'm not here to make a crazy money on anybody. Obviously, whoever bought this can appreciate it. I think the last sold signed book probably sold for double. So maybe someone bought this to resell themselves. Not sure, but I appreciate that sale. Okay, I believe this is the ninth item before I show you my biggest sale and the best surprise ever. So definitely, if you're watching up to this point, you definitely want to watch the next one that I sold. All right, so VHS, guys and gals, is definitely dead, right? Who watches VHS? However, if you find brand new sealed VHS, there are collectors that are sending them in to get graded. Obviously, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a super famous person. This was one of his more popular movies, more kid related, but a lot of people that were younger in 1993 can relate to this movie. This is absolutely in gorgeous condition. I bought a very large movie lot, sealed VHS movie lot from a reseller. Well, not a reseller, but well, I guess he is a reseller. He has over 7,000 auto parts of all sorts. And he listed this. I was randomly looking for VHS lots. He listed it. I got over 80 something videos to sell at $1.20 a piece that I've got invested in these. I have a pretty nice collection of them. They're very, very easy to list, especially when they're sealed. This is what you want to put in your title. You want to put watermark sealed or watermark grade worthy. This is the watermark that they actually put on the actual seal, the plastic seal itself. So what that prevents is you buying one of these. If it doesn't have the seal, that means someone has a plastic machine at home, or they've resealed the movie. Not the case here. This is actually sealed. Now, he did ask if there's any tears. There's a little one here, but his main concern, the buyer of this, was that like the plastic wasn't flipping off of it, because chances are they are going to send this in to get graded. But it's a beautiful example. The original factory seal on all sides. I took pictures of all the corners. These corners are not always going to be perfect, but again, for $15, I'm sure he'll be happy got this out right away. And then when I did package it, I did make sure I put it in a poly bag to seal it from any moisture. And I also shipped it in one of my comic book boxes, so that way it would stay nice and not get crushed during shipping. So very happy to basically 10x my money on this one. So after eBay fees and all that, I probably made 12 bucks after $1.20 invested in the actual acquiring the item. And I do have a bunch of those as well. So if you find sealed VHS out there, don't sleep on it, especially if they're, main movie stars, and the condition is everything. I don't recommend investing a lot of money into it unless it's horror movies. If you can find any sealed horror movies, guys and gals, those can go for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. The more rare, the grosser the look of it, um, the more money you're going to get. So definitely keep an eye out for sealed VHS, especially if it's old horror. There's a ton of people that collect that stuff, as well as anime, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Pokemon, Transformers, cartoons, stuff like that that's always been open. If you can find sealed stuff of that, there are toy collectors that also are big into collecting that stuff. Not the Star Wars, the Star Trek, that kind of stuff, because they made millions of those. We're talking like the obscure stuff. But very happy to get this sale. And now let's go on to the best sale of the week in a long time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. This is by far the home run of all home runs that I've ever hit so far this year. So I bought a vintage, what I thought was a box of vintage jewelry box filled with fashion jewelry. And this particular item was loose inside the box. And it ended up being real 100% 18 karat gold, and definitely made by Rolex. This piece is in perfect condition. This is the bezel that goes around those very expensive Rolex watches, and it even has the little niches here. When I got it in my possession, I weighed it. It weighed 5.2 grams. It was pretty heavy to the feel or the size of the actual item itself. It measured perfectly to the exact measurements of a Rolex watch. Again, this is the fancy bezel that goes around the watch. And I took it to my local coin shop here at Fox Valley Coins, which is probably a good 30 minutes from my house where I live now. And they also scanned it with one of their very expensive X-ray guns. And it actually ended up coming out exactly at 18 carats. So that's me at the shop. I asked the shop owner, hey man, do you mind if I take a photo of scanning it, because I need to authenticate it? Now, I could have sold it to them that day. The gold weight alone, just for scrap, I could have gotten close to $300. Now, I did promote this. This is my first time selling anything Rolex on eBay. I ended up getting close to 310 after fees, and I also spent extra money to insure the package. So the buyer only paid like regular USPS ground. I ended up myself spending $20 because I wanted to make sure it was insured, and also make sure that a signature was required upon delivery. I believe this particular item was going to a UPS store, one of those PO boxes inside of a UPS store. So it has kind of like a suite, although not 100% sure. And I believe this also went to the Diamond District in New York, where they sell Rolexes like hotcakes. So maybe a jeweler needed this, or a reseller of very high-end watches needed this. And I was by far the cheapest on eBay with the nicest piece. Even beat up looking ones will sell for around 450 bucks. So this particular buyer got an awesome deal. I decided to sell it on eBay to take the risk because of how nice this piece was. If this piece was beat up, I would have just happily taken the $310 from my local coin shop and took that cash, and not, have to sell it on eBay and eBay get their fees and whatnot. But if you run across stuff like this, and if it feels heavy and it looks like gold, does not necessarily mean it needs to be marked by gold or marked 18 karat anywhere on the bezel, because Rolex is not going to mark their official factory made pieces with 18 karat gold. They don't need to do that. It's a Rolex. They don't have to put 18K on all parts of the watch. So again, if you run into any parts like this in the wild, They feel heavy. They're not magnetic. They weigh right. Or if you have a local coin shop that does have an expensive X-ray gun to make sure it is 100% gold versus going to a pawn shop where they'd scratch it. I didn't want this to get scratched. This was in perfect condition. So this particular gun here is this like a 20,000 plus gun to test metals. So anyway, this was by far the coolest thing I've ever found. I spent $55 on the entire jewelry box. I've already made all my money back and then some. I haven't even listed the jewelry box for sale, which I think is worth $20 by itself. But all the items inside so far, with this one being obviously the biggest volume of it, I've already 10x'd my money easy on that, and I still have about 30 items listed on eBay. They can take as long as they want to sell. It's all pure profit from here. So again, when you're buying lots of jewelry or you're out there looking at estate sales, definitely keep an eye out for Rolex made gold bezels. And you'll know when you have it in your hand, if it weighs and feels like gold and it's not magnetic. And if you look at it under a microscope, every little piece of it is in perfect milled, detailed expertise. Even if it's beat up, you can tell if it's a real one or not, because no one's going to make a fake one of these that weighs, that has that heft of gold. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys watching my channel. As always, I'm always here to help you guys out, and hopefully this video has helped you look at reselling as a good way of making some extra money. I definitely don't do it full time. I do it for fun. I do it to get rid of all the extra stuff we, as consumers here in the US or other countries that you're in, the stuff that you have lying around the house. But man, when I go out and find stuff like this or even toys, I get excited. I don't know what it is, but I think it's cool when you can buy something and almost 10x your money. And all you simply have to do is some research and take some good photos and be a good person to others. 100% feedback. We want to keep it that way. So when people buy stuff from me, I make sure I get it out right away in a safe manner. I make sure the items are sealed, and I make sure my buyers are happy. And again, appreciate you guys watching my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.